Cyberpunk 2077 has finally received its 2.0 update as well as the Phantom Liberty expansion, and it is now the game that we were promised it would be back when it launched in 2020. If you have never played Cyberpunk 2077 before, now is the time to do so. If you are a returning player to Night City, now is the perfect time to come back and play it again. The developers do recommend returning players to start a new playthrough, and I can see why that is. Starting things out with this new 2.0 update is the fact that the game has been essentially reworked. Every skill point has been changed, the skill tree entirely has been changed, the armor has been changed. It is essentially a new game. Now, one of the things that they changed was with the armor. Clothing no longer gives armor anymore. Armor comes in the form of cyberware, and the cyberware you equipped. This way you can dress out V however you like to dress them out without worrying about stat implications, as the armor is now tied to the cyberware that you have to equip for your character. Other things that have been tweaked as well is the skill tree. Now, I'm a returning player, so my entire skill tree was wiped and I had to reallocate all my points. And with it, they even added a new category called the relic category. Now, this relic category, you cannot use it unless you have the Phantom Liberty expansion. It is directly tied to that expansion, so if you are playing the base game, you will not be able to unlock the skills in this tree. That being said, the skills within this tree mainly focus on melee combat specifically. There is an emergency cloak. There is something that highlights enemy weaknesses. But for the gist of it, the players that will get the most value out of the relic upgrades are melee-based characters. That being said, another new addition comes in the form of the game's car combat. Yes, car combat, which was shown in the trailers before, is finally here. You can either shoot guns that you have equipped, or if you are in a vehicle that has mounted guns, as you see on screen, you get full action, the whole 9 yards. It's like playing Twisted Metal in Cyberpunk world. It's absolutely fantastic. Along with all that, the AI surrounding cops has been changed. Cops will now chase you as you cause infractions. You have a skill tree as it goes along with stars, much in the same way as Grand Theft Auto. So there is a lot of things changed with the base game. However, when it comes to the Phantom Liberty expansion, this is where the joy really shines. First and foremost, the game's story and set pieces that are in this expansion is utterly fantastic. They've done a real good job. In fact, the Phantom Liberty expansion is fantastic all the way around. The new section of the map, Dogtown, which has its own little, it's kind of like it's walled off on its own. It has its own entry point. Dogtown itself is very different from the rest of Night City. And what I mean by that is because it is a smaller section and it is crowded, vehicles were not as prevalent in that section of the map as it is in the rest of Night City. Because the map is mostly small, I find that commuting with a vehicle was difficult because oftentimes you would run into citizens, pedestrians. It wasn't a lot of driving per se around Dogtown, and I recommend that if you are going to use a vehicle, use a bike because a bike can get around the clustered area of Dogtown. But Dogtown itself is absolutely gorgeous, as is the rest of the game. One of the things that I absolutely loved about Cyberpunk 2077 is its visual prowess. This game is 100% the best looking game I have ever played, bar none. I was playing the game on my 3080 Ti with full max settings, overdrive ray tracing turned on, and this game is a visual gem. Whether you are looking at the skies of Dogtown, Night City, everything was absolutely gorgeous. The amount of times I had to stop just to take in the visuals was astounding. But one of the other things that I liked about it was they actually improved the character models. And what I mean by this is Keanu Reeves looks more authentic than he did previously before the 2.0 upgrade, and they really took it out of their way to make the actors, both Keanu Reeves and Idris Alba look amazing and authentic, and it is just visually jaw-dropping. The story itself of Phantom Liberty is also fantastic. It is dubbed as a spy thriller, and it accurately suits that. It is essentially a spy thriller with many twists and turns along the way, and the story itself will do a good job of making you, the player, really, really think about the decisions that you're going to make, because the Phantom Liberty expansion does have multiple endings, and there is a way to end Phantom Liberty and have a new ending that goes into the base game that will give you a whole new ending that you couldn't have before. It is recommended that you play Phantom Liberty before finishing the base game, because the story in Phantom Liberty does take place in parallel to the main story and not post main story. And like I said, there is a new ending that can be unlocked by playing Phantom Liberty, so I recommend playing Phantom Liberty first, then completing the game, so you have your choice of endings right at the end when you get there at that point of no return. Combat in this game is fantastic. The shooting feels great. Everything about the game, from the mechanics, the weapons, it all feels good. The AI was pretty decent, not overly challenging on the normal difficulty, but still fun nonetheless. The playthrough time that it took me to finish the main story of Phantom Liberty was about 15 or so hours. However, there is plenty of side missions that are in the game, and the side missions are actually really, really intriguing with the stories that they tell within the world itself. Now, one of the things I do want to talk about personally that really, really blew me away was the performance of Idris Alba. Now, Idris Alba is a fantastic actor. Keanu Reeves is a fantastic actor. But with no disrespect to Keanu Reeves, I do love Keanu Reeves. Man, I gotta tell you, Idris Alba crushes it in this role. Whenever he is on screen, he commands the presence of the screen. He just commands your attention. He's there. His performance is on point. Every single time you interact with him, you can't help but just tune everything out. Idris Alba was a perfect casting choice for this. He did a fantastic job. And if you don't believe me, check out this scene for yourself. Listen to how he performs.
Exactly. I never talked about this, I should be saying they tried to kill me, but sometimes it feels like they actually succeeded.
Such a commanding presence when he's on. It's fantastic to watch Idris Alba work. That being said, my experience with Phantom Liberty was nearly flawless. I say nearly because I did experience a couple little bugs and glitches here and there. The one that stands out in my head was I was having a conversation with Reed, Idris Alba's character, and there was a floating pistol that was behind him that took out the immersion of that scene just because it was floating and it looked completely out of place. And it was just a little things like that, but nothing that I experienced from when I played this game at launch. I didn't have any crashes, no game-breaking bugs, just funny little ones here and there, but nothing too particular. Overall, Cyberpunk 2077 and the Phantom Liberty expansion is the best this game has ever been, and I highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't played Cyberpunk currently. And if you have played it but you haven't come back to it, come back to the game. It is a fantastic ride through and through. CD Projekt Red did a fantastic job. I'm even tempted of redoing a fresh playthrough just because of how good the game is now. Overall, I love my time with Phantom Liberty. Highly recommend it. I'm giving Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty a 9.5 out of 10. This is Veteran Gamer, and I hope to see you guys next time.